boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful.
Things just need to be left unsaid. I understand he's articulating like his point of view, like, look, this is all natural work. We're just working hard at it. We're doing X, Y, Z.
I always wonder, well, people say that, no, Canelo was going down and he had had enough. That there might be an excuse for that. So.
Yes.
Speaking ahead of the Terence Crawford battle, Stephen A. Smith says that Canelo Álvarez's notably larger frame begs the question of how the size differential will impact the result. Although he concedes that Crawford is the better boxer, he cautions that problems may arise if Crawford is unable to use enough force to harm Canelo. Smith's comments draw attention to worries about the physical difference and how it might affect the eagerly awaited fight.
You know what, I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is, with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, he can't keep him off of him. He says it's a legacy fight. And he believes he can do the same, and he wants to do the same against a fighter the caliber of Canelo Álvarez, which is why we haven't really seen him in the ring against anybody else. Unfortunately, that's the business of boxing. He's a victim of it, not a villain.
Canelo Álvarez's esteemed trainer, Eddie Reynoso, has responded to the accusations against him that have followed him over the years in relation to boxing performance-enhancing drugs. In the past, Reynoso has been charged with supplying or permitting fighters who train at his gym to use drugs, but he has consistently refuted these allegations. Canelo and his fighters, he said, are in charge of their own diets. Doesn't influence their food preferences. This clarification is especially crucial before the Crawford fight because when a fighter's performance or body significantly improves, rumors tend to get more intense. Reynoso maintains that he will not be directly involved in nutrition or supplement administration, preferring to concentrate on training methods, skill development, and mental preparedness.
Eddie Reynoso says, starting now, I'll be working 100% with a team that I can supervise. I've let the boxers who have come to me to train have their own nutrition team. So all of these fighters popping because of their nutrition team, Eddie Reynoso is guilty by association. So you have to clear the shit up. That's what I was saying about Victor Conte when he came with his transparency. I'm doing the same now with Eddie Reynoso. He knows he has to clean that shit up. I suggest to Eddie Reynoso, if you're going to be 100% in control of the nutrition team, join Snack. They got hyper-exfoliated, futuristic, hyperbolic chambers. Get Nello on Snack. Hey, brother, Nello on Snack with the futuristic 1.121 gigawatt, brother, please.
Despite coaching a number of fighters 7 by some counts who have failed urine tests over their careers. Eddie Reynoso has made it plain that Canelo Álvarez is not at fault. According to Reynoso, every situation should be evaluated separately, and fighters are ultimately in charge of what they put into their bodies. Reynoso claims that Canelo has always kept up a clean regimen and has been very watchful of what he eats and supplements.
Boxing corruption at its absolute finest, but how does it connect to Eddie Reynoso and Canelo team? So Rodriguez Jr. failed his test after the Galal fight. He set the record for the most punches landed in that fight. It even prompted people like Sonny Edwards during the fight to say, this is weird. And yet, he will not be punished. In fact, he'll be kind of rewarded because he's going to get ordered an immediate rematch for the WBC belt. The only thing he's got to do is have a 12-month probation period with random testing. Now, WB are doing this because they have ruled that proven unintentional use. It just so happened he took stuff that was extremely beneficial to his conditioning. Here is the WBC official statement. Feel free to pause this and read it. But what's it got to do with these two fine gentlemen? Well, Rodriguez Jr. is part of Canelo team, and he was rumoured to be managed by Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso since came out and said, no, I don't manage him, blah, 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 and he distanced himself. Now, why that's important is because Eddie Reynoso has been connected to, I think now, 6 or 7 fighters who have all failed their drugs tests. The rumour around town, now this is just a rumour, and definitely not true, is that these two may have smoothed things over with the WBC, maybe used their position of power to get Rodriguez Jr. a bit of a lenient sentence, put it that way. Again, that's not true, I've just completely made that up. But what is unbelievable is a fighter nowadays can actually fail a drugs test and not be punished whatsoever. In fact, can be rewarded. Unbelievable.
Ahead, Terence Crawford and Canelo Álvarez's eagerly awaited fight. Crawford's strength coach has made a daring prediction. He confidently stated that the camp is ready and that Terence would beat the living daylights out of Canelo. His remarks demonstrate Crawford's team's conviction that their strength, conditioning, and unwavering work ethic will be sufficient to defeat Canelo's size and experience. In order to equal Canelo in every area, the coach highlighted that their preparation is exact and calculated, focusing on both strength and endurance. As fans question whether Crawford's strength at a heavier weight will actually be sufficient to challenge an experienced champion like Canelo, this statement has fueled an already raging build-up.
Listen, I get a lot of texts asking how I'm doing, how camp is going, so I figured I could just put it up in one post. So I'm in the mountains. This dude's about to beat the brakes off Canelo and be the greatest boxer of all time, and I get to play a part in it. All is well, truly well. We good. I'm good. I'm real good.
According to some experts, the fight's outcome may depend on the size of the ring. Crawford may use his mobility, speed, and strategic positioning to hold Canelo at bay in a ring of normal size. As demonstrated by his defeat to Dimitri Bivol, Canelo has a hard time against opponents who keep their distance and use lateral movement. Canelo is frequently irritated, and his rhythm is disturbed by fighters that keep him chasing instead of standing toe-to-toe. Crawford has a much better chance of setting the pace and directing conversations if the ring's dimensions encourage mobility. However, the bout can turn into a lot more physical contest if Canelo can swiftly narrow the distance.
If the ring is standard size, I think Bud beats his ass all around the ring for 12 rounds. If Canelo want to come forward and get the whooping, that's what he gonna get. But that's the thing. In that last Skull fight, he didn't want to take the fight to Skull. So if Canelo don't come to fight, I don't want to see Crawford stand in the middle of the ring and take that type of risk. Because Crawford, he talk about retirement, but he can still go on after this. So he ain't got to take that punishment. He can run it back with him. I don't want Crawford forced into a dog fight with Canelo. No, I think he gonna whoop his ass off.
Jim Gray, a veteran sportscaster, has offered his thoughts on the fight, describing it as a fantastic match between two fighters with outstanding histories. He gave Terence Crawford equal credit for his supremacy in his own weight class and commended Canelo Álvarez for his consistent excellence in a variety of weight classes. The respect both men enjoy in the sport is reflected. In Gray's fair assessment, he admitted that the struggle is not only for titles, but also for heritage. Each man is trying to make his mark on boxing history.
I think we want to see the best fight the best. And even though there's been a difference in weight divisions here, I think that, people clamor for big names and big fights and guys who are great to fight each other. So being for the institution, and I am for the institution of boxing, I think Canelo has been great for boxing, and I think Terence Crawford has been great for boxing. So how this is going to play out exactly, I don't know. Terence Crawford is older, and Canelo has, twice as many rounds? So, I don't know how that combination ends up, the weight difference. Canelo's going to be a bigger man and a bigger frame, and coming up in that weight. So, I think it's just going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be at the Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play, and it's going to be filled up, and we're going to have a huge, huge night for boxing for the world to see.
On follow-up, do you feel like Terence Crawford has the style to cause Canelo problems?
Does he have the style to what?
Cause Canelo problems.
Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Terence Crawford can give anybody problems. Whether or not he will, I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know. We'll just have to wait.
Due to the boxer's disparate sizes. Renowned trainer Abel Sanchez has voiced serious doubts about Crawford's prospects. Sanchez clarified that there is a purpose behind weight classes, stating that although technique is important, one cannot ignore one's inherent size and power. Contended that Crawford, who is advancing to fight Canelo, will face significant challenges because to his strength at his native weight class. Even a fighter with Crawford's skill will struggle to overcome the physical disadvantages in such a matchup, Sanchez said.
As everybody has opinions, and my opinion is that I think Canelo will be too big for him. I think Crawford needed a little more seasoning, a little more seasoning of his weight, that is. He's had a year and hasn't had really any fights against those caliber fighters. The last fight he had a 154 pounder, moved up one division and had a difficult time in a way that he wasn't dominating as he did in the lower divisions. And you talk about a guy in Canelo whose really only bad outing was at the Bivol fight. And Bivol, when I first talked about that fight, when they asked me, Bivol is a Gennady Golovkin just 15 pounds heavier. Same skills, maybe not the punching power, but very skilled. So anybody below 75, Canelo has dominated easily. After the 5th or 6th round, it seems to be sparring sessions for him. So I think that he does very well, and I think he wears Crawford out and wins a going-away decision. Crawford is an all-time great, obviously, but there's weight divisions,
Definitely as well. Abel, I'll leave it there, but I'll leave you with the final words. Any final words for the fans waiting to see you in the corner on Saturday night, my friend?
I'm very happy to be back. I retired for 3 years.
According to legendary ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr., the combatant who is naturally larger frequently wins a battle like this. Canelo Álvarez ought to be in the lead based on that reasoning. Lennon also pointed out that Crawford had a window of opportunity because Canelo had not appeared to be as dominant in his recent appearances. This fair assessment implies that although size is important, recent performance and fighting style may still be decisive factors.
For the super fight in September, how do you see that fight playing out? Who are you leaning towards? Who wins that fight?
Yeah, I tell you, I tend to always think the naturally bigger fighter is going to have an advantage. I'm just, with the Crawford moving up, he was a 135-pound champion, then he had 40, fantastic champion, 47 then, and then 54 is 68 too much. That's really a big jump. But I tell you, a lot of people I respect just say, no, he's going to be favored on that. Wow. So I don't know what to say, but Canelo's a great fighter and a smart fighter, and two fighters in the pound for pound best. Getting it on. That's nice for boxing.
And if Crawford is successful, where would you place him in the all-time greats? Does he belong in the top 10, or you've seen so many fighters come across?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to say. But certainly he should be considered. He should be in that discussion, and people could argue that either way for a while. But if he does it, you always wonder. Will people say that no, Canelo was going down and he had had enough? That there might be an excuse for that. So, we'll see. But it'd be quite a feat if he does beat Canelo. That'd be.